Welcome to History on Repeat, a podcast that delves into the fascinating stories and mysteries of the past. I'm your host, Jackie Sharp, author of the Carroll and Delaney historical mystery series set in 1940s London. As a writer, I'm constantly researching and uncovering intriguing tales from history that inspire my novels. In each episode of this podcast, we'll explore a captivating historical event, figure, or phenomenon that echoes through time and shapes our understanding of the present. From the foggy streets of post-war London to the hidden corners of history, join me on a journey of discovery as we unravel secrets, debunk myths, and shed light on the enduring mysteries of yesteryear. Whether you're a history buff, a fan of my Carroll and Delaney mysteries, or simply someone who loves a good story, this podcast is for you. So let's turn back the clock and immerse ourselves in the twists and turns of history. My most recent Carroll and Delaney novel starts on Victory Day and is set against the backdrop of events after that historic day, most notably the run-up to the first election in the UK for a decade. The United Kingdom's first post-war general election, held on July 5th, 1945, sent shockwaves through the nation and the world. Winston Churchill, the iconic Prime Minister who had led Britain to victory in World War II, suffered a stunning defeat at the hands of Clement Attlee and the Labour Party. The election result marked a significant shift in British politics and set the stage for the creation of the modern welfare state. Let's dive into the reasons behind this unexpected outcome. During the war, Churchill had become a national hero, known for his unwavering resolve and inspiring speeches. His leadership during Britain's darkest hours had earned him immense popularity among the public. However, as the war drew to a close, the electorate's focus shifted from wartime concerns to the challenges of post-war reconstruction. There were many. Britain emerged from World War II with a severely weakened economy. The war had drained the country's resources, left it heavily indebted, and disrupted its trade relationships. The transition from a wartime to a peacetime economy posed significant challenges, including the need to rebuild industries, address wartime damage, and reintegrate demobilized soldiers into the workforce. The war had caused widespread destruction of housing, particularly in cities that had been heavily bombed. There was an acute shortage of homes, with many people living in overcrowded or substandard conditions. The government faced the daunting task of rebuilding and providing affordable housing for millions of people. The 1930s had been marked by widespread poverty, unemployment, and social inequality. The war had temporarily united the nation, but there were concerns that these issues would resurface once the conflict ended. There was a strong desire among the public for a more equitable society and a never-again attitude towards the hardships of the past. And the war had exposed the inadequacies of the existing healthcare system, with many people unable to access affordable medical treatment. There was also a recognition that education needed to be expanded and improved to provide opportunities for social mobility and to meet the needs of a changing economy. Clement Attlee and the Labour Party campaigned on a platform of radical social and economic reform. They promised to create a comprehensive welfare state, nationalise key industries, and address the widespread poverty and inequality that had plagued Britain in the 1930s. This vision resonated with a war-weary population eager for change and a more equitable society. In contrast, Churchill's campaign was criticised for being out of touch with the public mood. He focused heavily on his wartime achievements and warned of the dangers of socialism, famously stating that a Labour government would require some form of Gestapo to implement its policies. This rhetoric backfired, as many voters saw it as scaremongering and a failure to recognise the need for social reform. After 6 years of war, the British public was exhausted and yearning for a fresh start. The Conservative Party, which had been in power for most of the 1930s, was associated with the hardships of the Great Depression and the policy of appeasement towards Nazi Germany. Many voters believed that the Labour Party offered a clean break from the past and a path towards a more just and prosperous future. The Labour Party's manifesto, titled "Let Us Face the Future," outlined a detailed plan for post-war reconstruction. It called for the creation of the National Health Service, NHS, the expansion of social security, the construction of affordable housing, and the nationalisation of industries such as coal, gas, and electricity. This comprehensive vision appealed to a broad cross-section of the electorate. A significant factor in the election outcome was the vote of the servicemen. Many of these young men and women had fought for a better future and were eager to see social change. They were more inclined to support the Labour Party's progressive agenda than the Conservative Party's focus on maintaining the status quo. In 1945, there were significant changes to the electoral boundaries and an expansion of the electorate. These changes favoured the Labour Party, as they increased representation in urban and industrial areas where Labour had strong support. Additionally, the electorate had grown by several million voters compared to the last election in 1935, with many new voters being young people and women who were more likely to support Labour. The election results were a landslide victory for the Labour Party. They secured 393 seats in the House of Commons, while the Conservatives won only 197. Clement Attlee became the new Prime Minister, forming the first majority Labour government in British history. The 1945 general election was a watershed moment in British politics. It demonstrated that the public was ready for a new direction and a more equitable society after the hardships of war. Churchill, despite his wartime heroism, failed to convince voters that the Conservative Party could deliver the necessary social and economic reforms. The Labour Party's victory paved the way for the creation of the modern welfare state, with the establishment of the NHS and the expansion of social security. It also marked the beginning of a shift towards greater state intervention in the economy, with the nationalisation of key industries. In the years that followed, the Attlee government implemented a series of transformative policies that reshaped British society. The NHS provided free healthcare to all citizens, while the expansion of social housing and education helped to reduce inequality and improve living standards. The 1945 general election also had significant implications for the future of the British Empire. Attlee's government began the process of decolonisation, granting independence to India in 1947 and setting the stage for the eventual dissolution of the empire. Looking back, the 1945 general election stands as a testament to the power of democracy and the desire for change. It showed that even the most popular and successful leaders can be rejected by the electorate if they fail to adapt to the changing needs and aspirations of the people. For Churchill, the defeat was a bitter blow, but he would return to the premiership in 1951, leading the Conservative Party to victory in the general election of that year. However, the transformative legacy of the Attlee government and the 1945 election would continue to shape British politics and society for generations to come. The 1945 general election reminds us that in a democracy, the will of the people is paramount. It is a lesson that political leaders would do well to remember, even in the face of their own popularity and success. As Britain faced the challenges of post-war reconstruction, the electorate chose a new path, one that prioritised social justice, equality, and the creation of a better future for all. It was a defining moment in British history, one that continues to resonate to this day. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please subscribe and get new episodes of History on Repeat on Tuesdays and Fridays.